Hey, what's up, hoodies? This is your girl Tanya with the Hood Table. And no, the Hood Table theme song for this video right here. Sometimes you guys know a certain type of content. I don't play that really upbeat, the Hood Table theme song. We're just going to go right into the story here, you guys. And the story today, as you can see by the title of the show, is titled Omaha Man Sentenced to 70 to 80 Years in Prison for Second Degree Murder and Shooting Death of an 18-year-old. That 18-year-old is Cavante Hill. Now, some of you probably have heard me speak about this story some years ago when it first happened, but basically a young man, 18-year-old by the name of Cavante Hill, was killed here in Omaha, Nebraska, on his way just walking to the store with his dad, and two people were they had warrants out for the arrest of two particular people, and that was one Justin Wagner, and another one, the guy was named Elijah, and Elijah was 18, and Wagner, I believe at the time, was 19. I believe at the time he was 19, but warrant was issued out for both of them, and both of them was eventually arrested. Now I'm going to show you this quick video of when it first happened. So the video I'm showing you now is from years ago. Then after that, I'm going to show you a current video of this case. So let's get into this first video real quick.
Than 30 minutes, friends, family, and community members will gather for a prayer walk for Cavante Hill, who's the 18-year-old that was shot and killed. I spoke with Hill's uncle, who says Cavante was a good kid. Over a week after the shooting death of 18-year-old Cavante Hill, his uncle, Eric Sanders, says it doesn't feel real.
I got a call. I thought it was a joke. And because we just left him a couple of days ago, he gave his mother away in a wedding.
Sanders says Cavante loved church and wanted to be a preacher.
This spiritual dance with white faces and black gloves and stuff. And that's what he loved to do. He loved it. He loved to entertain. Oh, yeah, he can entertain. Yeah, he was really good at that.
Hill died a week ago Monday. Police booked 19-year-old Justin Wagner for his murder. He's the son of Omaha community activist Robert Wagner, the founder of Keeping North Omaha Safe for Everyone. He says he never suspected his son would be accused of something like this.
He's been with me for years, just making memorial beads and sitting at funeral homes and sitting with families. And that's what I'm just, trying to process still.
Wagner says Justin told him he did not do this. Do you believe him?
I do.
Yeah.
I could never in a million years. If my son could do that, then, I already lost him. So I do believe him.
And he's still trying to process everything.
You raise your kids, you want the best intentions for them, but it's hard. I mean, it's been a hard week.
Omaha police are still searching for a second suspect, 18-year-old Elijah Robinson. Wagner hopes that Robinson will turn himself in. Waverly Monroe, KETV, Newswatch 7.
So that is a video of when it first happened, when they first started reporting on the death of Cavante. And as you can see, Justin Wagner's father is like a activist in our community. And he's also somebody that I know personally, and I feel really, really, really horrible about this whole situation. Robert Wagner, he is, again, not only an active community or current community activist, but he has been an activist for our community for years. So when this happened to him, and when this was brought to his attention, as he said, he can't even believe that it even happening. He can't believe what's going on with his child. And of course, like most parents, like, I'm going to believe in my son. My son said he didn't do it. I'm going to trust in the system, put my faith in the system that they will find out whoever did it, or my son would get off with this. Now, what's so important here in this storyline is something that I've always mentioned before. Like, sometimes our children, we can raise them the right way, and we can try to keep them from the streets and keep them on the straight and narrow. And even with doing a lot of activist work in our community, his children were always there. His children were always with him. He raised his children by himself for years. And it sometimes it just seems like once they're grown, sometimes they go wayward, sometimes they go astray. And it's like you just hope for the best and you just keep them in your prayers and hope they make the right decisions. And sometimes they don't. This is that type of situation. This is really that type of situation. I don't know how many people Robert have stood up for in our community. People who were mistreated by police. I mean, there's people in our community who were kicked out of their homes, energy shut off, lights, gas, heat, water. I mean, people who needed clothing, people who needed furniture in their home, he has done like a lot for the community, a lot for the community. And I just want to stress that because sometimes it's not always the parents' fault when our children end up doing something like this. As a matter of fact, Robert himself was a victim of police brutality years ago in our community, and there was a settlement. I'm not going to say the amount. You can look that up if you want to, because I'm not really focusing on that, but I'm just saying he knows what it's like to be in trouble. He knows what it's like to go to jail. He knows what it's like to be out in the streets. He was once, just like a lot of us, out in the streets at a young age, trying to be gang members, carrying around weapons, all kind of things like that. So when he had his children, especially his boys, he wanted them to do better. He wanted them to see another way of life. But again, as well as we can raise our children, sometimes we just got to put things in God's hand, especially when it's out of our control. And I feel really, really bad for Robert and his family. Again, I know him personally. Robert himself, the dad, and his other child, whose name I won't mention, but they have done a lot of work on my home. They have done a lot for the community, but they also have a business as well. And so they do a lot of things like he can redecorate your home. He can remodel your home. I mean, installing floors, roofs, walls. I mean, yard work, towing, hauling. When I first bought my house here, this was some years ago. When I first bought my house, they were the ones when I bought my brand new furniture. I mean, I had thousands of furniture. I just went to the store and bought all this furniture. It was like, okay, how am I gonna get this shit off? And so I hit him up, and I swear to God, he was there in 30 minutes. I was like, yo, dude, I got all this furniture. Could I pay you to bring this to my new house and set it up as well? Man, they brought my furniture home, set everything up. They was in my house for hours while I'm going around decorating, cleaning, because I literally had just, moved in sometime before that. And they done other things around the outside of my home, to hung up stuff, put up stuff, fix stuff. So he's always had his children around him. Even the one who was not in trouble, that was still outside of the jail, he was with him all the time. I could call up his son right now. Hey, could you come over here and fix something for me? So to see like somebody who is a good parent, active with his children, active in the community, and something like this happens, it really breaks my heart. And to some people, they might say things like, oh, well, it had to be the parent. Something must be going on at home, for a child to go out and do something like that. I just want to say it's not always like that. It's really not always like that. And again, I feel sorry for all sides, not just Robert and his family, not just Justin, who's he was actually sentenced to 70 to 80 years in prison. And the other child, I say child, he was 18, but he's still a child to me. Elijah was sentenced like 40 to 50 years for the same crime. And of course, Cavanta lost his life. He lost his life. And it wasn't worth it. It really wasn't worth it. I'm going to play this next video so that you guys can see the current situation of what's been going on and hear what the news have to say about the sentencing. So let me go ahead and pull that up for you guys real quick. I think it has a commercial on here that has to play first. Let's go ahead and get that commercial out the way. I'm in plumbing, heating, and
life in prison for a 2020 2020.
Let me rewind it for you guys.
An Omaha man will likely spend the rest of his life in prison for a 2021 murder.
A judge sentenced 21-year-old Justin Wagner to 90 to 115 years for gunning down 18-year-old Corvante Hill.
KETV Newswatch 7 Sarah Feely was in the courtroom for the sentencing. Sarah?
The judge says Wagner has gone back and forth on taking responsibility for this murder, but the violence involved in the case is what led to her sentence. Prosecutors say Wagner and Elijah Robinson went hunting for rival gang members when Wagner spotted 18-year-old Corvante Hill and his father walking, circling them 3 times with the car lights off before Wagner got out and opened fire. They say jailhouse calls to Wagner's sister, speaking in code and asking her to move money from the dryer, ended up being guns, one of which was the murder weapon. Hill's parents spoke in court. His father said, quote, "My son is gone forever, and that's how I feel everyone involved in taking my son from me should be. Gone." Hill's mother saying, "My heart is broken and will continue to be broken." Wagner spoke to Hill's family saying, quote, "I'm man enough to apologize whether I had something to do with it or not." The county attorney says the sentence fits the crime.
Yeah, it feels an appropriate sentence. I mean, that's the consequence when you hunt someone down and kill them for really what ends up being no reason.
Wagner's counterpart, Robinson, received 40 to 60 years in prison. Wagner did admit that Hill was innocent and hopes his family will move forward. The judge set Wagner's mandatory release for 61 and a half years. He'll be 82.
So that was a news story that just came out recently, giving the information on the sentencing. Again, the other guy, the young man, the child, 18-year-old, when this happened, Elijah, he was sentenced already. And so now Justin just received his sentence. It was handed down to him. And as you heard, 70 to 80 years. He was charged with other things too, and time for that, but they're letting him run that all together. I just want to read something that his father has said on his Facebook, and it is public, so it's not like I'm reading anything private or personal, and I won't read it all, but I'm gonna just read some key things here. I just thought that was really need to be heard. It says here, well, he said here on his Facebook, he said he knows, that he might not have been the perfect father. He knows in certain areas where he might have failed his son, and some counseling might have been needed for his son, for certain things that he might have experienced in his life. And he do feel like he failed him in the worst possible way. He said maybe he pulled the trigger and maybe he didn't. But one thing I know for sure is I failed him in the worst possible way. He also said at this point, it really doesn't even matter. He said, as far as like all the people he's helped, all the people that he's been an activist for in the community, he couldn't help his own son. These are his words, not mine. And he said, I wasn't able to help my own son, and that's what's hitting me the hardest right now. He said, even though I truly enjoyed being a father and I thought I had all my bases covered, nope. I am crushed right now. I know I'll never be the same person prior to today. I am 48 years old. That means my son has to do my entire life plus one more year before he's eligible for parole. He'd be 70 years old. What are you coming home to? Entire life gone. He'll never have children or be able to sleep in a nice bed, never fall in love and have a family, never be able to protect his siblings or enjoy the holidays. As bad as I feel, now imagine how Cervantes' family feels. The streets are undefeated. I'm sorry, Cavante, and I'm sorry, Bubby. And Cavante is, of course, the guy who lost his life in this situation. And Bubby, of course, is Robert Wagner's son. I just want to give my heartfelt prayers up to both families, Cavante's family and Wagner's family. I don't really know Cavante's family. I might know some of his family members because of the last name, and there's a lot of Hills in our community. But as far as the Wagners, I do know them. And again, my prayers go up to both of the families. Again, this is one of those stories where it wasn't like the parent wasn't there. It wasn't like the child was just always out there just being bad and a horrible kid. things happen that we don't expect. Our children become involved in things that we don't expect, and sometimes we don't see. And sometimes how we think we got everything, like he thought he had everything covered. He thought he covered his bases. He tried to teach his children right from wrong, learn from the mistakes I made. He tried to keep them involved in the community. They were in sports. I mean, both of his children were in sports. They did good in school. So sometimes it's just, we just got to give it up to God. I don't know if this case is going to get an appeal in the near future. For right now, this is what it is for right now. I just wanted to come back to you and give you guys this update of this story, because again, we talked about it years ago when it first happened. And I always said, when new things arise, or, the outcome of the situation, or when the case closes, we always try to keep you guys updated with the end results of a case. I don't know if this is technically the end result of this case. I don't know. But right now, the judge said mandatory time. He'll be out. I think he said 69 years. Mandatory, he got to be out, or was it 59 years? I can't remember. Rewind, because I can't remember off the top of my head. But hopefully he will not have to serve the whole 70 to 80. And then again, it's like, it's so hard, because when his family's involved like this, it's like nobody wins here. The streets are undefeated, just like Robert said. Nobody wins here. Cavantes Hill, they family don't win. Yeah, these boys are going to jail for a very, very, very long time. But that's a win, but it also doesn't bring back, it's a win to them because, somebody is punished and they are serving time for that crime. But your family member is still gone. It don't matter if they sentence somebody to 2,000 years. It don't matter if they send somebody to death. Your family member is gone. And I think Cavante had a bright future ahead of him, a very bright future ahead of him. Robert Wagner's son as well. I believe he could have had a bright future ahead of him as well. And same thing with Elijah. All I can do right now is keep Robert and his family in my prayers, keep the other family of Cavante in my prayers, and pray that something like this doesn't happen again. Hopefully a lot of young people will learn from this. Hopefully a lot of parents will maybe see some signs that maybe Robert didn't see, or maybe, he's still an activist in the community. Maybe he will, get more involved. And also as far as like children and family support when it comes to crimes and trying to keep people off the street. I'm not saying he's not already doing that, but I'm hoping like maybe we can get something started in our community so that people could learn from certain things like this and maybe look for certain signs, because I'm sure he did not see signs that his son would be involved with another child out there looking for someone, hunting for someone, as they say on the news, just because they didn't find another rival gang member that they could, hunt down. And again, he was charged. They found him guilty. I wasn't there. He still pleaded innocent as far as I'm concerned, so you sometimes you just don't know. And when it comes to our children, sometimes we just don't know. We have faith. We hope they're not lying to us, and we hope they're telling the truth. But sometimes we just don't know. We just don't know. And again, my prayers up to Wagner's family and Cavante family as well. Everybody, please make sure you like and share this video. Subscribe to the Hood Table if you're not already subscribed. Please and thank you very kindly. Stay safe, be blessed, remain vigilant at all times, and always remember to keep it hood. I'm out.